During the past years, it has been my mission to serve people who are affected by the civil war around the globe, and now I am taking my first trip to visit refugee and IDP camps around Africa for assessment. I have initiated and started a community empowering organization, Ped International, Peace, Education and Development. I have traveled around to introduce PED program to the Somali Diaspora in Europe, and I have went to schools and communities. PED International is an organization focusing on empowering communities around the globe with the intention of enabling more people to play an active role in creating safe and caring environment. I have set a team of representatives to do an assessment in refugee IDP camps in Ifo, Dadab.
From Ped International organization. Ped is an international organization that works in the Dadab area, and we have a main office here in Dadab. And today I and my teams, we came to assess the station camp in Ifo. حرضاً إفو خاصة إفو أنا وكيلك. بعدين ما دي قدومية وحاربنا هيدا المحاكي في النسين كور الدبي.
hay'ado badan oo cusub diiban waxba noo qaban way jiraan hadii ay ku noqon doonaan aad baan soo dhaweynayna hay'ad inay wax noo qabataan
cuntada waxbarashada iyo maadada artiska xagga nabadda aan kala shaqeyno waxaan waa xeerada ka fiirinay maanta waxaan u imaanay tiimkan inaan walxaadin aan deendayna hadda maanta gudoomiye xerada hadda xeradan guriga la'aan biyo la'aan caafimaad kuna isku noo sheegtay
qofka markuu hooy helo maxaa ku dhihi karaa inta ay wuxuu cuno waxsan karaa hooy hortiin aad uga liidaa qayb waa lagu bilaabay oo bacay.
Since civil war broke out in Somalia, hundreds of thousands of refugees have crossed the border to Kenya, leading to congestion at the camps. Many Somali refugees are sheltering in 3 different camps after fleeing 2 decades of conflict in Somalia. Many women complained of poor nutrition, lack of proper schooling, and lack of good shelter and health. Our work was noticed when we were published on the Standard newspaper, a very popular newspaper in Nairobi, Kenya. Horn Cable TV also broadcasted our programs when we have distributed school materials to school children and also assessed refugee women facing challenges at the refugee camps in Ifo, Dadab, Kenya.
ayaa arday wax ka baratay iskuulada waxbarashada ee xiriyaha qaxootiga Dadab u qaybisay buugaag iyo agab kale oo ay ugu tala gashay in ardayda qaxootiga ah ay wax ku bartaan. waxaa halkaasi ugu horeyn ka hadlay oo hadal kooban ka jeediyay agaasimaha guud ee hay'adda Peace Education and Development Ashkir Maxamed
waxaan ka socdaa hay'adda Ped International Peace Education and Development maanta waxaan soo boqonnay iskuulka xalal oo ku yaala xerada Ifo taas aan soo gaarsiinay qayb deeq waxbarasho buugaag oo ka imaatay hay'adda Ped xafiiskeeda Canada waana barnaamijkan madax ka Professor Maxamed Nuur Mudabu Nuno waa soo barnaamijkan soo wali hay'addan soo sameeyay qaxootiga ugu deeqo anigana waxaan mas'uulkii u qaabsanaa Soomaaliya maanta waxaan joogaa Dadab barnaamijkan waa barnaamij Peace Education and Development
waalidiintii ardaydii maanta buugaagta loo qaybiyay ayaa mahadnaq u soo jeediyay madaxda iyo mas'uuliyiinta ka socotay hay'adda BIS ee ardayda qaxootiga ah ay uga caawiyeen dhanka waxbarashada.
Axmed Hussein Admalila waan ku magacdaray wariye waxaan nahay xarada Ifo odayaasha kaamka Ifo kamid ahay maamulkii wariye ee xayaa qaxootiga obralkii guud xarada qaxootiga ahaa maamulka inta kuwii ka horeeyay marka hay'adan waa hay'ad aan u baahanahay hay'adan waxay qusaysaa
bismillaahir rahmaanir rahiim magacayga waxa la yiraahdaa Faarax Maxamuud Maxmed markaan ka hadlo hay'adan waa hay'adan aad u baahanahay waan soo dhaweynaynaa wax qabadkeeda waxa weeye hadii aan dan Soomaali nahay dalka yagii burbur iyo dhibaato iyo isdil iyo baahalka keenay marka inaan nabadda iyo marti laga sheekeeyo oo nabadda dadka la baro waa waxaan aad u baahanahay hay'adan beed waan soo dhaweynaynaa waxyaabaha ay qabanaysana aad baan ugu faraxsanahay haddii aan nahay odayaashii qaxootiga Ifo
قادر عبد محمود محمد وحرد إيفو وحنا قد كتاب سكول كحنا بريمري سكول هذا فرحت لنا ما تبوكتان وكنا كنا فيه
أحمد عبد محمد أحمد تورنتو TV عالمي هون كايول TV حريها قحوتيga Dadab.
After many years away from Somalia, now I'm visiting Mogadishu, my capital city.
This is Dadab International Airport. The local time now is 5 minutes to 9 a.m. and the outside temperature is 27 degrees Celsius. For your own safety and comfort, to advise you to remain seated until this aircraft has come to a complete stop and its door is open. Disembarking passengers before leaving the cabin can ensure that you have all your hand luggage with you. We do hope that you've enjoyed your flight with us and you shall join us again in the near future. And on behalf of African Express Airways, Captain Simone and the rest of the crew would like to wish you a pleasant stay here in Mogadishu or your final destination.
This is where I call home, a place that I'm proud of, and I will be staying for the coming few months to do assessment about Somalia. I will start by going around Mogadishu city so that you can be familiar for what has been going on for the past 20 years. Thank you.
Somalia, the easternmost nation in the Horn of Africa, is a devastated country. Somalia has been engulfed in chaos and civil war for over 20 years. Its capital, Mogadishu, has been a haven for armed gangs, Islamic militants, and pirates. It's impossible to know how many citizens Mogadishu has. Civilians have fled by the thousands over the last few years, many to refugee camps, both within Somalia and in neighboring countries. Things weren't always this way in Mogadishu. Before being transformed into a battlefield, it was called the Pearl of the Indian Ocean. It was a commercial center and a tourist destination with a luxury hotel. But that pearl has long been just a memory.
To respond to the needs of the Somali community, most helpless in peace, education and development, I had to see for myself what is happening in Somalia and those who have been affected by the civil war and are stuck in the IDP camps. My goal is to empower women and youth for peace and education programs. The Al-Shabaab had been driven out of Mogadishu by the combined forces of Somalia, the African Union, and AMISOM, and for the first time in 23 years, there was an internationally recognized government. Since the establishment of the newly formed government, now you can see few changes in Mogadishu.
About the democracy we had here in this country from 1960 to 1969.
Back to Mogadishu, the Republic's capital, on its path to independent development. The city existed before, with these same houses, streets, and people. But it's a new city. Africa has changed, and so has Mogadishu.
Now we have a constitution. There are three classical powers, each of them well defined in the constitution. There is the legislative, which is the parliament, and there is the executive, which is the president and all the rest. And then we have the judiciary. The result of their work must coincide and be the elements that take the country forward.
قفت هذا الكيد دولة في عن توست رجع في عنا نول في عنا هلي جناعس في عنا لهلا وحياة في عنا لهلا رجع في عنا لنا.
Every week a number of people are killed or injured due to Al-Shabaab attacks. Many people lost their lives because of these attacks. Residents live under constant fear. Although Al-Shabaab lost control of most towns and cities, its roots still runs in many rural areas, which they imposed a strict version of Sharia law in such areas, including stoning to death women accused of adultery and cutting of hands. For Somalia to succeed, it must also be connected to the outside world through real bonds. To provide community-level engagement and change, this video is to inform or mobilize Somali Diaspora so that they can participate in the development of Somalia and help the Somali women and children in IDP camps. The return of Somali Diaspora in the country brings many assets such as global education, multicultural experience, and money. For decades, Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, has been referred to as the world's most dangerous city. But if the story of its current revival can be shared and embraced, a new identity will form as the greatest success story of our time. When you live in one of the world's most dangerous places like Mogadishu, as I did, you get used to terrorist attacks, the sudden explosion which sends a shock wave across the city. Without peace, development is impossible, and without youth, neither peace nor development can take place in Somalia. The Somali government and AMISOM have spent the past few years reacting to peace and dealing with the impact of tragic situations. To prevent the Somali youth from this, they must be educated. There are fewer support programs for youth in Mogadishu and throughout Somalia, and fewer opportunities for them to get involved in social activities, particularly in the rural areas.
إلا هاد بدور تسير مالها الجماعة المستقبل بنيرو أو يعني شيء أو تذكر أن يسكت تانا بدل معناها قابلنا لكن مالما هو راح يسكت مالما كذا شيء لا حد يبقى أربعة القضية بعد التجربة تيجي بعد أن يروح ما يطبق الجماعة دي ما تعالي جدا وباشالي عنك نقولين نحن سكين قبل ما نحصل معنا نقول بيش يسوق مالما بدل سؤال يسوق حاجة واحد كان مدور موجودنا عشان كان عمل استقبلنا هبته استقبال والله ليش قلت عليها والد يا واحد الله يربط عليه والله يسمع واحد ولا